Hello lovelies, welcome to a video. This is going to be a reading vlog. I don't know if it's going to be just for the weekend or another meandering week in my life situation like the last one was. Because as much as I would love to lay in bed and read all weekend long, I am in the middle of a project for a client that I thought was going to take me just today, but it looks like it's going to take me all freaking weekend. So I'm going to use reading breaks to escape. So here's what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm going to read yet, but I think I'm going to read one of these four. We have I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman with an afterword from Sophie McIntosh. We have The School of Good Women by Jessamine Chan. We've heard me talk about this endlessly over the last few weeks. Same with Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellers. Blue Sisters just came out and I'm interested in reading that, but I want to read this first before I either wade through crazy hold times or cave, buy the ebook, and then potentially hate it. So I want to read this first. And then we have Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. I don't know if I'm in the mood for mystery thriller. I don't even know that this technically is that, but it gives me that vibe. I think I'm going to start with I Who Have Never Known Men. Even though this is going to be dark and intense, it is little, and I think that is playing into its favor. So follow me along this weekend. We are going to be in the house mostly. I think we're going to make some more sourdough bread because my last loaf went bad just because naturally that's what happens when you make bread without preservatives in it. It only lasts for 5 to 7 days. So I need to make some more. I need to clean up a little around my apartment. I have this giant stack of books that I want to unhaul. A couple of which have been on my Pango for a little while and just aren't selling. So I think I'm just going to take them to Half Price Books and either immediately use the credit they give me and buy some books, or I might just take the cash and go. It just kind of depends on what stock looks like in the store. So we'll find that out. But yeah, come along for the ride with me and hopefully we have a successful reading weekend. Hello lovely people, I owe you an update on Broken by Sadie Kincaid, which I finished yesterday. And I just didn't have it in me last night to give you an update, if I'm being very honest. I watched an entire season of Scandal. I hung out with a friend I haven't seen in a while. They were in town for a couple of days. And after I finished this after they went home, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to save my feelings for the next day, partly because I didn't want to come off too hot. Because if I'm being very honest, I was obsessed with the first 60% of this book. I was. And then the third act conflict happened, and I just didn't... It made sense because Nate's feelings were very valid. I'm not saying he was wrong for how he felt in that moment, but I think he overreacted with Mel in her part in the situation. I'm saying this way because I don't want to spoil it, because I just realized this book literally just came out. This is a brand new title. It came out maybe a month or two ago. Yeah, the book really never recovered from that. And then when it started to, Mel dealt with a medical scare scare's the wrong word, a medical incident that was alluded to in the first 20% of the book. And I was really sad, actually, to see that happen. That thing is what brought them back together and made Nate realize that he did want to reconcile with her, which I think is great, but god damn, Sadie Kincaid put that girl through the ringer in this book. And it just felt kind of unnecessary. And I feel like she does this with her FMCs. Yeah, this is the second Sadie Kincaid book I've read, but this is the second time she has done this, where you're 60% in through the book, everybody's happy, having a great time, and each book I've read so far has been a dark or morally gray romance for the most part, and there's plenty of space for the conflict to happen outside of the couple, which it technically does, but for it to not affect their relationship to the point of a breakup. And I feel like she chooses to go the nuclear route every single time, and I don't understand why. I don't. Yeah, this happened with The Perfect Fit too, and I would say that Sadie Kincaid writes like erotica with a plot. Again, I've only read 2 books. I am going to give her a third try just to see if maybe the 2 books I picked up were just this way and the rest aren't, or if she's just not for me. Because here's the thing. She writes great chemistry in that first 60%. The bed chem is there in that first 60%. I'd argue there's too much. I think you can write a erotica style book with that, because it's not labeled as erotica, but that's what this is. It's like there's just so much smut after they like get together that there's no progress in their relationship that we see. It's just sex all the time, and I get it. You're in the honeymoon phase. It's your vibe, and I am not one to complain about hot smut in a book. If it's sexy and a good time, wonderful. Everyone's consenting. Wonderful. Let's go. I just like when there are those moments in between where you get to see them have those 3 a.m. chats where you learn something about the other person, or where one of them is willing to be really vulnerable because you kind of have that afterglow moment and you feel like really safe. Or, you know, the in-between where like one of them pops up at the other one's work and like brings lunch and they just kind of have like a moment. All of that stopped after they move in together. And I want them to keep dating their partner. That's what I want. That's what I wanted, and I didn't get that. And it made me very sad. So I'm going to move into spoilers now because I do want to rant about what happened. So, editing Rebecca, put spoiler right here and leave it in the corner. Thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, I don't think Nate was wrong for being mad at Mel for knowing that Bryce was going to set that like honey trap or whatever they call it to like get it to look like Nate was cheating so that they could get the payout for the divorce. I wish she had told him that Bryce was even planning that, because she goes and tells Bryce like, hey, not only is he not the cheating kind, but like things are going super well between us. We're growing together as a couple. Neither of us saw this happening, but we both know that this is more than just the arrangement that it started out as. And I would have, after that meeting, gone home and told Nate. If I were her, I would have gone home and been like, hey, I need you to know something. Before we got to know each other better, and before we decided that this was like a committed thing, and before all these feelings were here, Bryce mentioned that in an attempt to get money, like he was going to try and trap you out of in the morality clause of this whole situation. And I told him not to, but you need to know. Like, and I think he would have been a little upset in the moment, mostly with Bryce. I think he would have been a little upset that she didn't tell him up front, but then I think he would have had the like, oh, well, who was she to trust me when she didn't really know me kind of a thing. Because he kind of had the same moment with her where he had little things where he like kind of didn't trust her and then learned to. And I feel like she could have said that because so much else happens with Bryce that all of the shit, the third act conflict could have just been Bryce. It didn't have to be this. So I don't understand why we had to go through all this and why Mel had to go through that. Because the other thing that really frustrated me is it wasn't even like they were broken up for a little bit and then Nate cools off and he figures out she has nothing to do with it and he goes back to her to talk to her. They're broken up for like a month. And then Anna Wong, she sends Nate in there to like hate fuck Mel basically. And then he literally pulls out and leaves her with divorce paper, which like, ew. That's so icky. That is so icky. He spends all this time in the before when they're happy showing her the type of man he is, showing her that he's the kind of guy that will show up for her, that is kind of possessive of her, but like in the way where he's like, he's proud of her, he loves her, he thinks she's sexy, he thinks she's great. I get that he's ruthless as a lawyer and in a courtroom and in a boardroom, but for you to do that to her is disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. And especially because he comes to her and has no malice in the beginning of their interaction, and then basically like mauls her, and she's into it. Like, it's not like she's not consenting. She's very into it. But she thinks that they're about to reconcile. She thinks, okay, we're having sex, and then after this we're going to talk and things are going to be good. I was pissed. I wanted to throw my Kindle when that happened. Especially because he just never shows us that he's the type of guy to do that prior to this in their relationship. I would expect that kind of behavior, obviously not that act, but I would expect that kind of behavior if he like came up on Bryce or even her mom or, I don't know, another attorney. Like, I would expect something more ruthless from that, but just for him to do that to her was so icky to me. And then for the author to play into the miscarriage thing, I just don't like the way any of this was handled. Because Bryce is so disgusting to her about her losing those 2 babies when she was in college. And it is a very hard thing for her. And, like, she can't even talk about it without immediately breaking down when she tells Nate about it. And therefore tells us, the reader, because we didn't know exactly what happened. There are just so many better ways to handle that. I wouldn't even again been mad if she has a miscarriage in the book. I just wish that the conflict I wish that it had been a little blip, the Bryce thing and like Nate getting drugged in Chicago. I wish he would have come home. I wish he would have fought with her and had actual fucking communication about that. And him being mad that she didn't tell him, but him being maybe a little bit more forgiving. I can understand him not forgetting, but being a little bit more forgiving to that because she was in a shit position. I don't like that he left her. I obviously don't like that he hate fucked her. I hate the way he talked to her when she told him that she was pregnant. He was disgusting to her, and for no good reason. Especially because she came in there and was like, hey, I'm pregnant. I don't want anything from you. I don't need you. This baby doesn't need you. But you have a right to be in this child's life if you want to. I don't know a better way to tell somebody who you're not in a relationship with and who you delivered your divorce papers to that day via courier that a situation has happened that they need to be aware of, and you told them in a way that made sense. I just don't like the way any of this happened, and it didn't feel good in the end. Even when they got back together, it still felt gross to me. And I think it's because she was still dealing with the miscarriage, and he was so like, he was remorseful for 4 seconds, it felt like. And then everything felt rushed. I also feel like Sadie Kate tried to do too much with the plot, like, and too much with Bryce being this like evil guy, because then she brings in the whole like how their dad died and why the robbery happened and all of that. And I mean, I could see that coming from a mile away. I think anyone reading that could, if you've read a dark romance before that's like mafia adjacent. But with everything else that had just happened, it just felt like whiplash is the wrong word, because that would imply shock, and I wasn't shocked. It just felt like I was just being pummeled with bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. And again, it just felt gross. It just felt gross. And I feel like she decimated Nate's character in the last 40% of the book, and that made me really sad. It did. So that's my end of rant for Broken. I'll give her one more shot, and we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I did like the other brothers, so maybe I'll wait until the next book in the series comes out for this, which I don't think will be until 2025. Because I did like the other brothers in this, so we'll see what happens. But man, that just left a bad taste in my mouth. And now I don't know what else to read. I really, honestly, I want to watch another episode of Scandal. But I know if I start that, it's 8:38 right now. I know if I start that, I'm going to want to watch 2 or 3 episodes. And I have to go to work tomorrow morning. So, like, I really need to not do that. I started a C.E. Ricci book this morning. I've never read anything by that author, but had been recommended several of their books because I like hockey romance. And I started one today not realizing it's the third book in the series. It's called Fair Catch, and so far I don't want to say I don't like it. I'm only 16% in, and the setup is that we're following Kaysen and Hayes. Hayes was roommates with one of the guys from the very first book, and Kaysen was roommates with the guy from the second book. I have not read either of these. It's all sports, big man on campus kind of books for the most part. Hayes is not a athlete, but he has roomed with one before, and his ex-roommate was saying, hey, Kaysen really needs a place to live. Meet him, give him a chance. I think this will work for you. They're both seniors. It's their last year of college, and so they just need to kind of like get through it. Kaysen is the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Inconsiderate roommate. He comes in, so even when they first meet, they're meeting at a coffee shop, and he like spills coffee all over Hayes, and Hayes is kind of a dick about it. Hayes is also very antisocial. I'm wondering if we're gonna get like any like autism rep or something in here, because it's kind of giving that vibe, but not entirely. I can't tell if he's a dick or if he just isn't, if he's neurodivergent. God, my allergies are killing me. I can't, like, my throat is so swollen right now. Sorry if you can hear that. They just have this very tense relationship, and relationships, putting it very loosely. And I just don't, it just feels like they're both being jerks to each other, and that's not getting me invested in the story. I don't honestly even really need to like either of the characters initially, but I do need to be able to root for them in the end. And right now, there's just nothing. Like, neither of them has much personality. Neither of them, I'm not seeing them be, like, great in a friend group. And maybe this is my fault for jumping into the third book and not going back and reading the first. But honestly, actually, I think I tried to read the first book and had similar issues where they both were kind of jerks, but neither of them really had a good vibe with the people around them initially, because we just didn't get to see it. It was just conflict after conflict after conflict. And then eventually I think it would have divulged into something else, but I gave up. And I feel like I'm about to do this here. But they just sat down for like a little movie night together. Hayes was already at home watching... No. Kaysen. Kaysen was at home watching a horror movie. Hayes walks in, goes, oh my god, I love that movie. And then Kaysen invites him to sit down, and they kind of have a time together. Kaysen also finds Hayes really hot, and Hayes walked in on him having some self-love in the shower. And that was awkward, And I just don't understand. Maybe he enjoys men who are jerks to him. I don't know. So I think I'm going to give it maybe 2 or 3 more chapters and see if the tone changes or if I become more invested. And then if not, I'm going to DNF and move on to something else, because I don't have time to read books I'm not enjoying. I just don't have time for that. So thanks for sitting through this long ass clip. I'll let you know if I continue on with this C.E. Ricci book or not. Hi, happy Monday? It's Monday. I think I'm going to DNF that C.E. Ricci book. It's not bad, and in fact, the main characters are starting to become more friendly, but I just don't care, and I'm not having a good time. And life's too short to read books that you're not having a good time with. So, while I was doing some mundane activities at work this afternoon, I decided to pick up the Iron Flame audiobook, and I'm already like 25 chapters in, which is kind of wild, and I'm having a very good time. Some of my questions are being answered. I feel like we're getting better world building. It's still not great, but it's better. Violet is starting to earn her way out of the dumb bitch book club. She's being a little less dumb, not a ton, but things are happening. I was like iffy on Xaden in the first book, but I think I like him. I think I like him a lot, actually. And is Dane going to get a redemption arc? I feel like the answer is no, and I don't quite know if I believe him when he says he did not try to take her memories, or if he took the one that he claims he took. The fact that he took them at all is still very shitty, and he should not have done that, but I don't know. I'm having a good time. adjunct professor, whatever the fuck he is, Varish. I need him to be taken care of swiftly. I love when Taryn made that man get on his knees in front of everybody and apologize. But he had to know he was only going to make things worse for Violet. Yeah, the dragons are powerful and like no one can really rule them, but the writers are still ruled by the principles of the school, for lack of a better term. And you would think that he would think about that a little more, but he doesn't. And I don't love that. I just feel like he's regularly putting Violet in danger. And I don't know. I'm like, that's not really what you're supposed to be doing. So we'll see. I feel like lots of bad things are about to happen. It's getting very chaotic. An arch nemesis from book 1 was just revived. Okay. Yeah, shit's weird. Shit's weird, but it's a good time. It's a very good time. So I'm going to eat some dinner. I think I'm going to watch a couple episodes of Scandal. And then maybe I'll read some more. I'm already 40% into the book, and I don't really want to finish it in 2 days. I would like to have this be my book that gets me through at least most of the week, maybe to Wednesday, if you will. So I think I am going to hit a stopping point here. But I wanted to come in and update you with what was going on, what I'm doing. And yeah, those are the vibes right now. So far, so good. I'm having a good time. Is it my favorite? No, but it's really entertaining. It's really entertaining. And it's getting me in the action and adventure mood that I need in this fall time. And I'm already looking at my shelves thinking, ooh, what fantasy series should I start after this, So, I don't know. Vibes are good. Wasn't a bad Monday, which is first one in a long time for me that's been good. So, I'll take it. I'll take it. I just got home from work and I just spent the last 4 hours listening to Iron Flame while I was doing someone's email migration. And I am a simple ass bitch and I'm unashamed. I'm having a very good time. A very good time. I have been screaming about my reading to my friend in our text. Highlight of the afternoon was me yelling, "My house, my chair, my woman." Because, sir, I also, for all of you who said there's not enough romance in Iron Flame, are we reading the same book? Because these two, horny as fuck. And honestly, I could do with less smut scenes, mostly just because there's so much other stuff happening as this war is developing that I feel like at times it's almost taking away from it. And I'm just like, we know you guys do that well together. Can we instead focus on him answering some of Violet's questions and Violet shutting up long enough to let that man speak when he's trying to warn her about shit so she can stop being a part of the Dumb Bitch Book Club? Because she is still captain of the Dumb Bitch Book Club, leader. That she wears the crown. Because my goodness, the amount of times that he has tried to warn her about something or just even give her helpful information 4 seconds before she's about to go do something because she's always in a rush and she can't just sit down long enough for him to speak to her. She's so dumb sometimes. God, she is so dumb sometimes. But it's entertaining as fuck and I can't put it down. I can't. I'm having a very, very good time. So I'm going to keep reading. I will honestly probably finish this tonight with the way things are going. I'm so glad I DNF'd that other book to listen to this because your girl is having a time. A good, good time.
Story. Welcome to our fucked up family. Guess we're brothers now.
The end. This is Rebecca Soler. We hope you've enjoyed.
Oh my God. How do you... I have so many questions and there are no answers, and I am... Wow. Well, I guess I'm continuing the series because now I need to know what happens. Holy crap, I read this in 2 days. This thick ass book. I could not stop listening to the audio once I started it. I couldn't stop. It's so good. Why is it so compulsively readable? Oh my goodness. I don't have anything to say. That's a lie. Okay, editing Rebecca put a spoiler thing up because what the fuck? So Xaden just turned himself into a venom, and for what? For what? I get that he could feel her burning out, but he didn't have any of the, I don't know, belief in her that she wouldn't actually burn out and that Brennan wouldn't fix the situation. It's so frustrating to me. I don't know what it is about these fantasy books where, like, one person out of the couple feels like they just need to, like, sacrifice themselves all the fucking time without any, like, forethought of what it's going to do to the other person, and they just say, oh, well, I love them and this is for them, and it's like, you're gonna wreck them. You're gonna fucking wreck them. That's how I felt when, spoilers for the ACOTAR series, if somehow you still haven't read that, even though it's been out for like 10 years, for Reese, like, literally killing himself during ACOWAR and then having to be fucking revived. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a cure for turning into a venom. And I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Like, because he's still bonded to Sigale, which means Sigale and Taryn are still going to need to be near each other. So it's not like he can just leave Violet. I mean, I guess technically he could. Because earlier in this book, when they were separated and then they would visit, there would be times where one of them would still be on duty, so they wouldn't really see each other, but the dragons would see each other. So, like, that's still possible. But I don't know. Maybe they'll find more of those ancient journals and tomes from the pre-unification times, and maybe there is a cure for it, but I don't think there is. I feel like I think the next book is supposed to be the final book. And I think one of them is going to have to die to resolve this, which is fucking nuts. All of this would have been for what? Oh my goodness. I just sat and just like enraptured for the last like hour through the end of that book because I couldn't stop. Wow. I need to find another fantasy series to read to do that with, and I'm like looking at my shelf right now, and I think I might restart the R.F. Kuang's Poppy War series, because I read the Poppy War and I read the Dragon Republic, and then for whatever reason I didn't immediately pick up Burning God, and it's been so long now since I read those first two that I feel like I need to reread them so that I remember what's going on. But I want to be enraptured, and at least that series is finished. At least that series is fucking finished. Wow. Oh my god. Oh man. I'm like mentally exhausted now. It's only 9 o'clock, which is a little early for me to go to sleep. So I think what I'm going to do is scream about this in my text to my friend who has been listening to me rant about this book all day. Hi. I'm going to cuddle my cute little doggy. Look at her. Can you say hi to the people? Look. Say hi to the people? No, it's okay. So we're going to snuggle and then probably watch an episode of Scandal and then go to sleep because I need to decompress from that stressful reading experience. My goodness. Oh my gosh. Wow. I don't know if I'm going to start another book for this vlog or not. I'll let you know. The new Shane Rose just hit KU today. And then Close Knit by Kelson Denise Snowden comes out tomorrow, and I haven't read anything by them, but I love the idea of a little knitter girl and a soccer player getting together, and it's very Grumpy Sunshine and all those fun things. So I might read one of those, or I know I'm going to read them, but I don't know if they're going to be in this vlog. So they probably will be. One of them will be. I think I'm going to try and do a three book video, because both of those I feel like I could read relatively short. They're short in a short amount of time, so that I can get this video out in a timely manner. But wow. Thanks for sitting through that with me. That was fun. I guess I'll see you guys in the next clip. I'm suffering. Oh my god, I'm suffering. Hello, it is Thursday. Thank goodness. I'm so ready for the weekend. I feel like my reading this week post Iron Flame has been a little bit of a bust. I'm in the middle of Between Desire and Denial by Shane Rose. This is the fourth and final book in the Hardy Brothers series. And I'm just not connecting with it. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's the writing, the mix of like character connection and plot just like isn't there right now. And I can't tell if I'm just not in the mood for this or if it's truly not hitting. But I am going to keep going, I think, because, well, I say that. I don't know. I want to finish it. I don't want to DNF it. Let me tell you what this is about. Let's rewind. So we're following Olive and Dimitri. We met Olive in book 3. She is Key's assistant. Key is the like pop star who has just gotten married and she just took over the record label that her husband so kindly bought for her because they had her in a really shitty contract and it was like a whole thing. Anyway, that book was great. Olive's, we meet her in that book. We see her kind of throughout the book. We also see Dimitri because he's also Key's best friend. Olive and Dimitri, not so much on the friends. They're not enemies, but they weren't like super close. They just were conveniently around each other, if you will. And now they're in this weird thing. At the wedding, they hook up. That's like chapter 2. So this is not really a spoilery thing. And you kind of know what's happening. That was the longest beginning of book smut scene of my life, and I think that is where I initially got turned off, which like that's not what that scene was supposed to do to me, but it did. And it's not that like it wasn't sexy and like fun. I think if these two had more of a banter in the third book, then I would have been more excited for that to happen this early on, but they really didn't. I also really hate Olive's storyline a little bit. She was dating a professor and that did not go very well. And they break up right in the beginning of the book, and then she hooks up with Dimitri. And he doesn't even really like her like that. Like, he even says, like, I never really noticed her before tonight. And I'm like, brother, you have been around her for, like, a literal 2 years. What do you mean you didn't notice her? You didn't find her attractive or whatever. He didn't even say he didn't find her attractive. He just said he didn't really notice her. And I just don't understand how you go from not noticing someone to rocking her world like that. I just don't. And then she tries to treat it like a one night stand, which she said it would be before they even got into things. And then he's suddenly like, well, now I have maybe not feelings, but like he wants to see her again. He wants to hook up some more. She's not having it. We are now back in her very privileged hometown little township thing that he's also trying to develop heat businesses into. And there's like a fake dating situation that's about to happen. But he also is like, he's very into it. He wants to be committed to her. But why? I just keep coming back to that. I'm like, why does he want to be committed to her? Because he didn't care 45 pages ago. And now suddenly he cares. And he's talking about how he's been fantasizing about settling down and having babies because all his brothers are settled down. And he's watching his nieces and nephews grow up. And like he wants that, which is fine. That's very valid. You're allowed to want that. But he's like jokingly, like, he's like, play house with me. And she's like, the fuck? And I also am like, the fuck? You can't mean that. What's going on? And it's just because there's just no existing foundation. To me, they were tolerating each other before. Maybe kind of friendly at most. And now we're supposed to believe that there's this underlying chemistry there. Like, they have, I don't even say they have chemistry because, like, there's not good banter even. I don't know. What I'm worried about is that this is going to be like delayed penalty where he's going to make some shitty comment or something. And I'm like, why is she fucking him? You know? I hope I'm wrong. I really do. So I'm going to give it probably another like 50 or 60 pages to really grip me. And if I'm still going, ugh, why? I don't think I'm going to like fully DNF it, but I think I'm going to stop talking about it for this video because I would like this video to end on a positive note. And I just got The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. That arc got delivered to my Kindle this afternoon. And I think that would be a great way to end this vlog. So I'm going to give this another 50 pages. I will update you and let you know how that goes. And we'll see. We'll see. If not, we have a solid backup plan. And who doesn't love having one of those? Okay, so I came home for lunch and I finished that Shane Rose book. And I don't know if I liked it or if I should have DNF'd it. And that is a very weird place to be. Okay? A very weird place to be. The chemistry didn't really get any better, but they fell in love anyway. And this book couldn't decide if it wanted to be a love story, a mafia book, or a romantic thriller. But there were no thrilling elements really. There was like a weird underlying mystery and some sad shit going on with the FMC's brother. And I just secret society shit, but like not intriguing really at all. I don't know. It just really missed the mark for me. I think I'm going to give it 3 stars because it wasn't bad, but I just didn't have a good time, you know? Which makes me really sad. This is not how I want to end the vlog. So I think I'm going to try and squeeze one more book in because that was not it. That was not the time I was expecting to have. It was compulsively readable though because I read like to the 90% mark last night and then finished it this morning in no time. So I don't know. We'll try again. We'll see what happens because I need to end on a win. I really do. I know I told y'all earlier this afternoon that I was going to read something else after between, is it Denial and Desire? Desire and Denial, and that's just not going to happen if I'm being very honest. I don't want to say that reading that after Iron Flame put me into a reading slump, but it definitely like dampened my mood, and I will read more this weekend, I'm sure, but as of right now, I'm not feeling it. I am not feeling it, so I'm going to end the vlog here, and I normally don't like to end on a downer vibe, or at least not without like a healthy rant to leave you guys fed, if you will, but you know what? Videos don't need to be perfect. They don't. They don't need to end on a cute little happy note. They don't need to end after me finishing the perfect read, or at least a 4-star. Sometimes they can end like this, where the reading just doesn't work out because there are millions of books out there and not all of them are going to be for everyone. So I am going to end this here. Thank you so much for coming along this chaotic journey of a week with me. I'm excited to get you some other vlogs. Maybe ones where we're enjoying what's going on, but I have some plans. If my little mood reader brain will follow along, have some ideas. I think we're bringing back, I know we're bringing back the 3 thriller videos, but I actually have, I think, 3 that are not out yet that I could read that will, by the time that the video's done, be close to coming out so that you guys have something to be excited about because we are coming up on the perfect mystery thriller time. So all that said, I will see you guys in another video soon. But first, I would love for you guys to comment if there's anything you'd love to see from me. Even if it's not in what you assume my reading range is, because I have a kind of wide one and I'm tempted to kind of expand that some more on this channel. So would love to hear your thoughts and feelings. If there are things that you've wanted my opinions on, or if you've heard me mention, but you're like, haven't seen that yet, would love to see it, tell me. And if you made it this far, tell me what your favorite fall treats are. Doesn't have to be pumpkin, doesn't have to be apple, just whatever your favorite thing is to eat as the weather starts to turn and there's a little bit of a chill in the air, but it's still warm and sunny. Tell me what your favorite thing is. It's a perfect Saturday. You can eat whatever you want. You can drink whatever you want. Tell me what that thing is. And I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye.